Rappler, and my name is Bea Cupin. For this edition of Rappler Talk, we'll be talking to the newly appointed Secretary of the Interior and Local Government. He is a longtime governor of Cavite, and starting October 8, has supervision over all the government units local government units in the Philippines, as well as agencies like the Philippine National Police,
BGNP,
Bureau of Fire and Protection,
National Youth Commission,
among other things.
Quite
a leap, sir.
A big leap.
Thank you for joining us, Secretary Jonvic Remulla. Sanay ka na ba sa Secretary?
Hindi pa. When you hear Secretary Remulla, you immediately think of Boeing. But I think I'm a rebrand. I'm better looking than him.
We will talk about that. Not so much the rebrand, but the fact that there are brothers in the Marcos cabinet right now. But sir, yesterday, the president released a statement basically vouching for your extensive experience in Cavite and said that he has no marching orders for you kasi more or less you know what to do na. Pero, so what is on your agenda day one as the SILG?
Well, day one, today I met with the general staff and I outlined to them 3 or 4 immediate concerns that we must do. There are day-to-day, like running the department, which is not difficult. But more than doing the day-to-day, I wanted to set a direction for the coming 3 years that hopefully I will serve as DILG. The bigger agenda ticket is number 1, creating a policy recommendation to the president for reforms in the PNP and the NAPOLCOM.
Yeah.
It's an old law crafted 1990, so 34 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be revisited.
Right.
I think the structure, the structure has to be revised. I think NAPOLCOM has to be reviewed as well. That's one. Number 2, I set the orders ready to create a terms of reference for 2 things. One is to digitize the local government units to make it easier and to make it more responsive to the populace, specifically in getting permits, paying real property taxes. I want a uniform platform. Across all local government units that it can be digitized.
That will be difficult, but yes, continue.
Yeah, it'll be difficult if you let go local governments pay, but the national government will pay for the program and implement it. The third is I want to create a national 911 system that is uniform to the entire Philippines, because right now you have different ones from San Juan, different ones from Quezon City, different from Manila.
Right.
If you call from Cebu, they call Manila, and so. But I want it to be a uniform app, not a call, but an app where you register and you can make a digital call, and there'll be a doctor available to give you first aid advice, or you can take videos of the incident that's happening. It'll have a geolocator so they can tell where you are and help can come immediately. So those are the things we want to do immediately.
Again, tall orders imposed by yourself.
Yes.
I just want to zoom in on the PNP and NAPOLCOM. Bakit yun, sir, yung pinakauna mong naisip na kailangan tutukan as DILG?
Well, specifically PNP has become a very political organization. And because it has become very political, its effectivity has been mixed.
Yeah.
They can do so much more. They've done a lot. Their record on drug enforcement has become better in the last 2.5 years that the president has been in office. Secretary Abalos did a great job. And he did it without resorting to extrajudicial killings. But a lot of it is done on the demand side. Something has to be done about the supply side too, on where it comes from. But in essence, the structure of the PNP is very old. It's very top-heavy. There are too many people in too many places, and I think we have to whittle down the responsibilities and streamline the process.
Would that mean bringing power closer to the people, closer to the...
Yes. The reason why I want the 911 up there
Okay.
is so that people can have an immediate feedback to what's going on.
Okay.
A lot of times, if you put yourself in their shoes, if something happens, who do you call? Who do you call? And the police they usually call the barangay. Then the barangay will call the police will arrive, and sometimes accountability isn't there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring the people and government closer together.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
Sir, you alluded to it kanina. No? Obviously, the PNP became famous under the drug war of the former president, which is now being probed prominently by the,
Yes.
by the House specifically. Yung tanong ko siguro dito, paulit-ulit na to na talk point ng kung sino-sinong PNP chief, no? Yung cleansing the PNP, getting rid of the scalawags, that's their favorite word, right? Like, how do we actually intend to do that? Of course, with the purpose of it not just being a talk point, not just being, like a buzzword that they like using, but to actually, make sure that the PNP is effective, and I guess nabanggit mo na rin, depoliticize it, or at least make it as professional as you can?
Well, the problem became systemic in the last administration because it became extrajudicial means of dispensing justice became the norm. And because that happened, there came a cultural shift inside the organization.
Right.
And when that happens, you create a different kind of atmosphere and attitude with the officers there. It's different when you put the power of God in your hands and they lose all moral compass. In actuality, the officers of the PNP know who the culprits are.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They know what they've done. It's just a matter of getting to the bottom of who ordered it, who orchestrated it, who paid for it, and were there, and how was it institutionalized as a practice.
Right. Sir, basic question, how do you intend to do this? Because even though that you mentioned nga naman na the former Secretary Abalos did what he could, they also tried yung cleansing in a way, lalo na sa senior officers, but I mean, I'm sure that you know this as a governor also, no, na parang politics is quite entrenched. Yung bata-bata system sa Philippine National Police, and unfortunately, it has, in some areas, calcified almost, right?
Yes.
How do you intend to kasi parang it's almost an existential problem for the PNP. Parang yung soul nila, something like that?
Yes, they've lost a lot of it.
Yeah.
You have to understand that the PNP is going through a shift also.
Yeah.
Because General Marbil is one of the 5 remaining PMA
Oh, that's right.
PMA graduates who are heading the PNP. There are 5 only remaining.
Right.
And it's different when you come from the PMA and you come from the PNPA. Because military training, in fact, is different from civilian peacekeeping. So everything from structure to mindset has to be changed. And that is where the shift is going through now.
Okay.
And so in the next 2 years, the first class of PNPA graduates will be the top leadership.
Right.
As of now, they occupy 95% of the leadership. So in the next 2 years, the PNPA graduates will be the ones taking over. That in itself accounts for how the culture will change too.
Right.
So hopefully, because we will have newer blood and a newer mindset, things will change.
That'll make it an extra interesting term
Yes,
ahead for
yes.
yourself.
There has to be a lot of cleansing done. And we want to put a merit-based system on promotion. Trying to put disqualifications rather than qualifications on being promoted.
Okay. Good luck, sir. in imposing that.
It'll be difficult.
It's not gonna be easy.
Even the term, there's always often a term when they say he possesses all of the qualifications and none of the disqualifications.
Right.
This time we're going to look for the disqualifications.
Parang ang dali lang sabihin, pero
Yeah,
if you know the
mahirap.
PNP, you know how difficult that
It's
it
very
could be.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Jumping on, sir, to another topic naman, you enter just as the 2025 elections hasn't really begun, but it's practically
It's begun. The minute you file, it's begun.
I mean, like, you filed your candidacy
did.
for re-election. You withdrew it, obviously, to
Yes.
accept this post. One thing that keeps, we'll be talking about the 2025 elections a little bit more later, pero one thing that keeps cropping up, obviously because it's in the news, but also because the president made a promise to eliminate all POGOs by the end of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What can and what should the DILG and the PNP, obviously as law enforcers, do to make sure that the deadline is met?
We have a list. We have a
Checking it
list.
twice?
Huh?
You're checking it twice?
No, we don't have to. We have the list from PAGCOR.
Okay.
We have identified all the sites. I will start in Cavite. I will close Island
I was
Cove
about
down
to ask
first.
about that,
I
yes.
will close down first.
Okay.
Not
Is there a timeline for it shut
December
down
15.
in Island Cove?
I,
I mean, Island Cove to be
December
specific.
15.
Okay.
And just to make it clear, it's not ours.
Okay.
But it's in Cavite. It was ours. The property was ours. But it was sold in 2018. But that is the first thing I will close. And
Okay.
succeeding days after, we will padlock all of it, inspect at padlock.
So you'll be going around the country?
Around the country. But 90% is here in Metro Manila.
Right, right.
In fact, I'm going to Porac tomorrow to issue the suspension of the mayor and the councilors,
I see.
vice mayor and councilors who issued the permit to operate the
I
illegal
see.
POGO.
Okay.
So that's a start.
Nabanggit mo na rin, sir, yung Porac. Siyempre, tatalon tayo ng Bamban. Again, halo-halo na to, 2025 elections,
Yes.
LCEs. We've seen in the case of Alice Guo in Bamban, no? Parang the LCE, in that case, who has since been dismissed, allegedly, apparently benefited from the POGO in her own, like, right behind
Right behind.
the
Yes.
municipal hall, right? So, does the DILG, as you know it and as you have learned probably earlier this morning, does it have mechanisms in place and the personnel in place to make sure na una, hindi mauulit yung Bamban, or two, we actually find out if there are other Bambans, Poracs out there, whatever?
I think the list is complete. I think
Okay.
the list is complete of where the illegal and illegal ones are. But as a matter of mechanism to make sure it doesn't take place, well, you can issue a directive. But it is a function of law. Nangyari kasi they were given permits and they set up shop and so it was the previous administration which set that all up. At that time when they were set, there were no laws against it.
Right.
And this is actually illegal. They all got their licenses. Even I think the one in Porac and the one in Bamban and Porac were legal. Legal in paper, on paper.
In the gray areas.
But illegal in their activities.
Yeah.
So in that manner, we couldn't say no. But in this time, there will be strict directives of not to.
Sir, I realize this is not strictly under your purview naman, but I mean, is there also, is this a huge concern for the DLG now, yung possible foreign interference sa LGU, LCE level in the Philippines?
That's, well, if the story is of credence
Yeah.
of the Chinese spy that was caught
Right.
saying that Alice Go is a sleeper,
Yeah.
so then it is a
Yeah.
concern.
Yeah.
Especially the way the Bureau of Immigration handled it by giving late registration papers. That
Yeah.
opened the floodgates.
Yeah.
So
is this
that has
something
to
that
be
you've
addressed.
discussed with the other Secretary Remulla?
Yes, we have discussed it, and he's identified the culprits, and charges will be filed against those who were responsible.
So my logical next question is, for the first time in modern history, perhaps we have siblings in
Is it like that? I'm not sure. Is it first
probably
time?
at least in recent history. At least
I
as
think
far-
the last one was a father and daughter.
Yes,
with that
yes. So
one.
you
But
had
with siblings, I think it's the
but
first
siblings
time.
probably the first
I
time
think
in modern
the-
history.
If I'm not mistaken, the Umpins, but they were in different administrations.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so
in same time,
concurrently-
concurrently first time.
So sir, yung elephant in the room dito, how would you explain people who say na proper ba yun to have, siblings in a single cabinet?
The bigger question is it improper? Is it illegal? No.
Okay.
Is it unethical? No. Do we have the qualifications? Yes. Do we have the expertise? Yes. My brother has been in Congress for 12 years, and he was a bar top-notcher, and he knows the law very well, in and out. I've been in local government for almost 30 years. I know the ins and outs. I said, why did I leave my job? I could do it with my eyes closed. And I really know local government. I know its ups and downs. I know its weaknesses. I know its strengths. And I know how to, I know how to do this job. I'm ready for this job.
I'm going to ask you later what made you decide to leave the comforts of Cavite in a way, right? And jump headfirst into national government. But was it a consideration when you were offered or when it was broached to you siguro na would you be interested in the DILG? Was that a consideration na parang, oh no, but I'll be in the same cabinet with my brother? What will that look like?
No. The bigger consideration was how do I serve the president effectively?
Okay.
How do I, in all fidelity, in all integrity, keep the trust that he's given me. Me and my brother, we have no issues. I don't think it should be an issue. They'll make it an issue, but it really isn't between the two of us. And he was never the consideration.
Right.
My consideration was doing the best job I could for the president I serve and for the president that people chose.
Right. Can you walk us through the decision-making process? Because we talked about this off-cam. Of saying yes to the offer to be the SILG.
Well, as to in his words, you were my only choice. I think you're ready for this, and I need you for especially this coming midterms. You know how to handle it. You know how to handle the police. And the bigger decision was leaving my mandate.
Yeah.
That almost it actually drove me to tears yesterday the other day. When I said farewell to the people in the capital, because it's the only job I ever wanted.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
Right. What ultimately made you or compelled you, or at least made you decide that this was the right choice to move into national government?
I think it's time that a different perspective is put in local government. I think it's time that new energy is put. I think it's not enough that you put fires out, but rather you start new ones and start new trails and improve things. Secretary Ben-Hur did a great job. He served the president very well. He navigated the office and the intricacies of the office very well, and he gave me great advice.
Right.
He's been giving me great advice for the last 2 days. And he turned over to me an office which was very clean, which was very efficient, and now I just have to make it better.
What's the most striking thing that the former secretary has told you in this transition? Rather quick transition, admittedly.
No, very quick, very quick.
Oh.
It's more about navigating yourself through the corridors of power.
Okay.
Which is very difficult.
Okay. I would say that you're no stranger to that, but I guess...
Cavite is not as complicated as it seems.
I see.
I'm a stranger to the powers of this level, to the intricacies of this level. But as long as I have the trust and confidence of the president, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Yung isa sa pinaka siguro urgent things that you'll be thinking about in your first week on the job is the 2025 elections. You've mentioned that, of course, one of the priorities is to make sure it's peaceful. But on top of that, how is the DILG or is the DILG closely monitoring? Again, I'm going back to the idea of possible malign actors, not just from the Philippines, but even outside the country, right?
Yes. There are two things of concern here. We have mapped out the potential problem areas. There are temperature gauges in every municipality, in every city, and it's mapped out. The more dangerous thing is foreign interference, especially through social media.
Yeah.
So our anti-cybercrime group is currently formulating a response team on how to deal with it.
Okay.
And we are going to work closely with Facebook and TikTok. And I don't know if we can work with TikTok, but with TikTok and with Instagram and the other social media sites.
We're thinking about like sa local levels then, monitoring if there are...
Yes, monitoring them. seeing what's going on. So it's difficult, but it's something that has to be done.
Do we have a timeline pala, sir, dun sa plano natin for the app that would, I guess,
Yes, we're forming the terms of reference now. I have asked the president to transfer the local government support fund back to the department because it was put in the DBM. He said yes to my request, and we will put on the terms of reference we will issue the terms of reference maybe right after elections, and then bid it out maybe 60 days after that.
So once things have settled-ish on the...
The entire time now is setting the terms of reference.
I see.
And that's a difficult thing to do in this day and age where everything has to be careful.
Right.
So we're setting it up now.
My last question, sir, pero medyo nasagot mo na siya kanina. And I only ask this given na your immediate predecessor left office because he's running for the Senate. Several of your predecessors eventually ran for national post. Do you have plans of aspiring? Secretary Mar Rojas.
Oh, that's right.
Ran for president, right?
Before
so there is that
Robredo?
notion that he
But
I
was asking, I'm thinking who are the national...
But it's become quite a prominent, as well as the Justice Secretary post. But anyway, it's become quite a prominent post, right?
The Justice Secretary included.
No, but I mean, it's become quite a prominent post for appointees who might one day seek. Is that something that you're even thinking that's in the realm of possibility?
I'll answer it as complicated as I can. No, to be honest, when I was younger, it was part of my plans. But as I got older, it started fading away. When I saw the stress involved and the intricacies involved and the sacrifices needed, it's kind of slipped out of my grasp already.
Right.
I think a quiet life is good. I think what I did in Cavite was good. And I think they're more talented and more capable national officials on the horizon.
Right.
I think Senator Cheese is very talented. I think in my generation, he's the most talented. We're together in UP at the same time. I think Vico Soto is a potential there in the future. But I think as you get older, you get more real. I'm like Don Quixote who finally saw the windmills as not as much but as real windmills.
Right.
I think I'm almost there.
Right. But we will keep this video and play it in 2027. We'll see what happens then. Sir, well, at this point, Secretary, do we offer you congratulations or do we wish you good luck?
Wish me good luck.
Wish you good luck. Okay.
Yes.
Exciting. Three years ahead?
Yeah, 3 years.
Well, 1 year muna, sir. At least yung elections, maitaw.
Yeah, get this over with.
Then.
Yeah, take everything one day at a time. So it's a long travel for me every day, Cavite to Quezon City.
You're not moving to Manila.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Cavite's home.
You said that with so much disdain. Thank you again for joining us, dropping by Rappler. We can continue the conversation if you want. You can download the Rappler app. We will be flashing a QR code so you can download it quickly and then we can continue the conversation there. Thank you again for joining us, Secretary Remulla.
Thank you.
One of two Secretary Remullas. But Secretary Remulla, congratulations, good luck, and thank you for watching Rappler. This has been Bea Copin. Goodbye.